Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm trying something a little bit different today. I am doing card reveals of the new Megacolony units that we had revealed in Premium Collection 2022. So for starters, here is our Stride. Poison Evil Mutant DD Marigantis, if I pronounced that correctly. His skill is Auto, Vanguard Circle, and G-Zone. Once per turn. If this unit is on Vanguard Circle, this cost may be paid with turn a card from your G-Zone face up. If this card is face up, cost counterblast 1 and put a rearguard into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's stand rearguards and retire it. If a card was retired, you draw a card and countercharge 1. If no cards were retired, you choose one of your opponent's vanguards and it gets power minus 10,000 until end of turn. For starters, I want to say that the artwork is fantastic to me. Probably one of my new favorite Megacolony Grade 4 artworks in the whole game. It is a stride that cannot be damage denied, which is the first time in history because all of our strides are Counterblast or Soul Blast, depending on the stride you're looking at. Most of them are all Counterblast. And the fact that you can retire an important opponent's rearguard, draw and countercharge is fantastic. If it's on Vanguard, it's just a free countercharge if you snipe something. And even if you don't retire anything, just minusing your opponent's Vanguard by 10,000 power is still very strong in Megacolony. I love this skill all around. So besides using him as just a Vanguard stride, you can use him with some other nice strides that can help out in situations. One that's going to come up a lot is flipping our new stride over with Ghidorah, so that way you can use his skill in the G-Zone to draw, countercharge, or minus your opponent's Vanguard by 10k, while lock your opponent out of their G-Zone with Ghidorah's skill, on top of stunning their board and prevent them from superior calling from anywhere. Another good card that goes with this stride is Overwhelm. Overwhelm can draw you a bunch of cards to get you hand advantage, but there is a chance for you to go critical and quad. And if that situation does come up, you can go crit and quad check, then use your stride in the G-Zone to minus by 10,000 power, so now it gets a little bit tricky to work with the Overwhelm, because now they're getting an extra drive, they're critical, and if you're GB3, you're going to be bigger because of all the damage they have face down. Just a very great situation overall. Now going into some very solid grade 3s that you can just sit on while having him in the G-Zone if you're unable to stride. You can use Evil Armor General Giraffa. So you can go ahead, use his skill in the G-Zone, counterblast 1, put one of your rearguards into your soul, then either countercharge or draw, or minus him by 10k. If you minus him by 10k, Giraffa gets even more aggressive, because Giraffa is going to be 5,000 power for each other unit with Giraffa in its soul. On attack, you're going to counterblast 1, eat one of your rearguards, then your opponent's going to call 2 cards from their hand. At rest, they're going to be stunned, and their auto effects do not activate. But now, since you're both at grade 3, you're going to be able to go critical if you meet his in-soul requirement. So just there, you're going to minus him by 10,000 power, you're going to rip 2 cards of the hand, which is going to make them struggle more in the guarding phase. Giraffa, I feel like, personally, is the better grade 3 to sit on. But let's see some other grade 3s that I feel like would be good to sit on with this stride in the G-Zone. Another grade 3 is Venom Stinger. You use your stride skill. If you get the minus 10k, you bring them down. Then when you swing with Stinger, you're going to heal them between 1 or 2 damage. Then you're going to deal them 1 or 2 damage when you use Stinger skill. So counterblast 1, move a rearguard into your soul when he attacks. Any trigger that your opponent gets from his attack, you get instead and not them. If you soul blast a grade 3, you heal them 2 and deal them 2 damage, where this is going to come into play. So now not only are they minus 10,000, you're going to be an additional 10 to 20,000 more on top of any triggers that you get off of their damage checks from his skill, then your twin drive. So you're getting essentially 4 checks while making your opponent have to guard harder against the Stinger. A lot of people don't use Stinger because right now it's Order Colony, but I feel like Stinger with our new stride can be a very deadly situation. But this is just all my personal opinion. Another grade 3 that can go well with this is Machining Black Saturn. For those machining players, or if you can find a way to splash them in generically. Black Saturn is going to counterblast 1, soul blast 1, restand all of your rear guards. They're all going to get 5,000 power. He's going to get drive +1, and he's going to take away a drive from your opponent's vanguard. That's not really important because of the fact that they're just going to stride over or ride over it. But having triple drive, while bringing them down in power, is going to be fantastic because machinings have ways to get big columns off their own effects. And to do triple drive with that is just fantastic, in my personal opinion. So this is another little situation where you can just sit on Black Saturn and just do the stride skill from the G zone and keep applying pressure. But that's if you're really not able to stride at all. Going back to the Giraffe beyond grade 3 real quick. Another situation you can do is if you boost him with Brawny Jerk skill is when it boosts a unit that attacked a grade 3 or greater vanguard, discard a card from your hand, your opponent discards a card as well. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to rip 3 cards out of your opponent's hand if you get the minus 10,000 power with the Giraffe play. And that's just going to hurt them in guarding wise even more. Now you're probably wondering, well, what are we going to do if they have a full standing board or a couple of units in stand? How are we going to get past that when we really want the minus 10,000? Thanks to the most recent clan collection that we got, we have Master Beetle, Vanguard and Rearguard, Counterblast 1, choose up 2 of your opponent's rearguards, rest them, and stun them. So right there for Counterblast 1 on the Rearguard Circle or Vanguard, you already increased the chances of getting to that 10k power. So if you have 2 Master Beetles on board, you Counterblast 2, rest 4. This is another grade 3 that you can run with the stride, just sitting on grade 3 and all that. I kind of don't find it as beneficial. Yeah, you get drives, but that's going to come down to board state as well. And Drava is just a little bit stronger in my opinion. You also have Armor Beetle, which is rest one of your rear guards to rest and stun one of your opponent's standing rear guards, and he gets 6,000 power. Very fantastic. So if you have Armor Beetle and a Master Beetle on board, Counterblast 1, rest 1, and you force rest and stun 3, which can easily help you get to the strides minus 10,000 power. It's just going to be really, really good, in my personal opinion. The stride alone has a lot of potential going forward and helping Megacolony become an aggressive deck. I do not play the Order Colony route. I play very aggressive with my builds, so I don't even do the stall route. I find that being an aggressive Megacolony player will always catch people off guard. And I have caught a lot of my friends and other players that I've played in tournaments off guard with how aggressive I can get, that they just sometimes can't come back from it. So I am ecstatic to use this card to my advantage. Now going over to our G Guardian, we have Constraint Youth and DD Crew Weeble. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, cost Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets power plus 30 shield until end of that battle. Your opponent chooses any number of their rear guards and rest them. This unit gets shield minus 10,000 till the end of the battle for each unit that was rest. This card is very fantastic for Megacolony because we have been struggling for a long time with mediocre G guards that are very heavily restrictive, to 2 of them being Vanguard related attacks only. So to have this card in our arsenal is very, very welcome. This card can also set up your other G guards that you have in your G zone. For example, you G guard with this, he gets big, your opponent decides to rest a certain number of rear guards to reduce its shield, which is perfectly fine. So then you G guard with Relish Lady. Relish Lady is flip a G guard in your G zone face up. Your opponent chooses 2 units to rest them. If they do not rest, you get to draw a soul charge and counter charge. But because they rested rear guards, to decrease the shield value of Crew Weeble, they might not be able to pay the cost for Relish Lady, so you'll just get to draw a soul charge and counter charge. Another G guard that works well with Crew Weeble is Featherwall. You drop Crew Weeble first, they're going to rest a certain amount of units, and there's a chance that you will be able to get the 10k shield value for Featherwall, which just helps a lot. Because, like, okay, I'll rest 2 to minus you by 20k shield for Crew Weeble, then they now are in the range of Featherwall to come out and close in that gap, which is very nice because Featherwall is a very strong G guard, but it's also one of those situational things where if the number of your opponent's standing rear guards is 2 or less. So, Crew Weeble, Featherwall, very great combination there. Now, another card that can be very helpful with Crew Weeble is Brilliant Blister, that also came out with Master and Armor Beetle. So, you can, again, do Crew Weeble. They rest as many as they want, but they might keep 1 or 2 front row rear guards and stand, because it's like, alright, that's fine, I'll just rest the rest of these guys and I still have attackers. Drop Brilliant Blister, you're going to decrease the attack by 1. Especially if the Vanguard is at rest, which is the requirement for Brilliant Blister to rest the rear guard, and that rear guard won't be able to restand at all. We have some pretty tricky ways to mess with our opponents now, and this G-Guard is just, again, fantastic. I love its artwork a lot. So overall, what do I think of these two cards? They're fantastic. The Stride is just amazing. Now if they try and damage deny us, we don't have Counterblast, we just easily stride this, get our counter charge back, get a draw, and just keep the aggression on. Our G-Guard is, again, it's amazing. It's not Vanguard restricted, it's just there to finally help Megacolony be defensive for once. I am ecstatic with how they work. So those are my thoughts on our new Stride and our new G-Guard. They're very fantastic. They have so much potential to help Megacolony moving forward, especially the aggression of the deck, which is why I enjoy the most out of it. I hope the suggestions that I have laid out in the video have been helpful. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one down the line. Bye.